This is the first episode of 3 that we're going to be doing on the 3 Ds of security. And the first one is for deflect. Deflect is a very simple principle. It's the same as you find in nature, where animals make themselves look bigger or look more fierce than they actually are to try and deflect or repel an attack. And that's the exact same principle we use when assessing your property from the outside. And a good principle or a good technique is to go stand across the road from your house and take a look at it and see what your house says to you. Does it give you any indications that are easy or weak points that are easy to get inside? Is there anything that is inviting, that is encouraging people to climb in? And those are the areas you need to then target and address. When considering what your house looks like and if there are any weak spots, for your boundary wall, the things you want to look at are, is there any overhanging branches that makes it easy to climb over? How high is your fence? Are there any easy footholds? Are there any spiky plants or anything like that that makes it difficult to access over the boundary? Also visually, do you have an alarm warning sign that tells the person that you do have an alarm system? What is the boundary saying about the property? When assessing your boundary, remember it's not just the front or the back of your house, you also share a boundary with your neighbor. So make sure that if your fence is secure, that if theirs isn't, you've protected yourself from your side. Otherwise, you've got another vulnerable hole. Your driveway gate and your driveway is an extension of your boundary, and you want to make sure that you apply the same principles when trying to deflect somebody. So when looking at your gate, you want to make sure that it's not easy to climb over. This gate you can see has easy footholds, but the electric fence does help. So you want to make sure the electric fence goes across the top of the gate and is extended through to the other side of your boundary. You want to make sure that the gate is automated, because that means you don't have to get in and out of your car. It makes it harder for them to stop you, and it gives you free access out of the property when you're leaving. An intercom means that you're not going to come down to the gate to talk to anyone. It gives you the ability to screen anybody that arrives, and again gives you that little bit of distance, a little bit of preparedness before somebody can actually get into the property. From the driveway side, you've got to make sure there's no bushes or anything that anybody can hide behind, little areas where they can work on pedestrian gates or anything like that. So you're giving them less time or space to do what they need to do. Any visible form of security adds to the overall effect of the house. So CCTV, lighting, anything like that just makes you look more defensible, more of a harder target to attack, and that's what you're looking for. The CCTV camera, it doesn't have to work, but it has to look like it works. If it's hanging down and there's cables hanging off of it, it's a dead giveaway that it's not working, and therefore it loses its effectiveness. The same goes for your electric fence or anything else. If you've got wires broken and bushes hanging on it, it's obvious that the unit isn't working, and therefore it loses the effectiveness you're getting. If you can't afford to fix your electric fence, at least string it up so it looks like it's working. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give the impression of that you have the security, that you are a harder target, and encouraging them to go look elsewhere. Other thing you need to look at when you're looking to deflect people is what is on your building, what is your building saying about your level of security. Things like open windows, items lying around, toys left outside, all attract and invite people into the property. Copper on the walls, you've got to make sure if you've painted over it, so at least it is concealed as much as possible, and possibly consider replacing with polycop or something that, of a similar nature. You're trying to stop the attraction, trying to deflect them, make sure that you look less inviting than your next door neighbor. And that's what deflection is all about, is making you look more protected, more secure than somebody else. They would then prefer to go find a softer target than take you on. And that's the basic gist of what deflection is. In next week's video, we'll go through the second D of the 3 Ds of security, which stands for deter.